You've got uneven eyebrows.
No, I have not got uneven eyebrows.
Well, maybe it's not the eyebrows. Maybe it's just your face that's uneven.
Will you get on with what you're supposed to be doing?
Can you have some toast?
Just coffee.
Not just coffee. You should eat more than just your fingernails. Have some cereals at least.
All right, if it's a package deal or nothing, I'll have some cereals.
I heard the car last night. What time did you get in?
Don't ask. You know, it never ceases to amaze me. I chase people for money. They claim they have no money. So how come they can afford to stop out half the night?
Job. It killed your father.
Well, it's not going to do that to me. My daughter might. Carmichael might.
Have you got your eyebrows on properly?
Don't you talk to me about eyebrows. It's your fault I was born with eyebrows that need help.
You've made them too dark.
Well, for a reason. To distract people from how yuck my eyes look this morning.
Well, you shouldn't work so hard.
It's not the work. It's wondering what I'm going to do with my daughter if they expel her from school.
Well, will you know?
After the school governors meet. Oh, my. The estimate for the repairs. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they used to build a whole house for that? It's got to be hardwood. It is no good doing it in softwood.
Oh, no, but that's...
It's as if I'm going to have to carry on working late.
We don't need the repairs right now.
We do need the repairs right now. Even eyes as bleary as mine can see that.
Bad payers can be a heavy drag on a business.
I'm not about to argue with that.
Really screws up your cash flow.
Well, there's always going to be some.
Not if you leave it to me.
Well, we've always done all right with that Forrest woman. She's a grafter.
You're not listening to me. I'm telling you, with my company, you're going to have no bad debts. Not one. Imagine it. Zero.
How are you going to manage that?
What do you care? That's what you're paying us for. To do the worrying.
Do you want a cup of tea?
I'll have a coffee.
That's a terrible muddy foreign drink. I've made tea.
I'll have tea.
No wonder you've got a bitter disposition.
Where's your rabbit?
Back where he belongs. You don't keep wild things once they're well. No plumber.
Plumber?
He was supposed to be here this morning to put me a shower in. We agreed, remember, you were going to put me a shower in.
Well, why isn't he here?
I don't know.
You mean you haven't inquired? You just make tea? You haven't even bothered to pick up the phone and find out why he's not here. You're just going to leave it to me.
Well, I've got to give the man time not to be here. That's how you know he's late. We didn't finish the page.
Not now.
Just finish the page.
Carmichael!
Look, we got to there.
How do you know we got to there?
I got Crystal to read this bit again.
Living organisms differ markedly from their surroundings. Man is a watery system but must live in air with less than 1% of water in it.
And that's why we're drinking tea. Need the liquid.
Why I'm drinking tea is because you wouldn't make me coffee.
Just read the book.
Man must therefore economise water by covering most of his body with a waterproof skin.
Don't you find the human body wonderful?
If it's so wonderful, how come we can't find a plumber?
Bus were full. 2 went past while I got a lift.
In that skirt? I bet you did. Bet you find that human body wonderful. I'm sure you never had all those legs go when you left last night.
Are your eyebrows straight?
Drink your tea.
It was this lad I know. Picked me up in his firm's van.
Yeah. Your eyebrows are squint.
Oh, you won't like it. I come smart for work.
you've got time to look at eyebrows, it's time I found you something to do. How are you on house repairs?
Didn't like me in my jeans.
Is he any good?
You can spot a crooked eyebrow.
I told you there were two.
Don't start again.
Good morning, Police Collection Agency. Mr. Who? Oh, Mr. Brindley. I'm afraid she's not in right now, Mr. Brindley. Can I take a message? I think it's better tell that yourself, Mr. Brindley.
So the sun's just a big star. One day, it's going to burn up all its fuel.
Not before you finish the repairs, I hope.
See, you're like other people. Just not interested in that kind of thing.
Will you do me a favour? Will you try and sound more like a handyman? I'm trying to convince my mother that you're of a practical disposition. Are you sure you can do this? I mean, I'd like it to look like a job when it's finished. But I'd like it to fit and things like that.
Can I help you?
Well, reluctant as I am to demolish that impressive smile, I'm afraid I'm not a customer.
It's a complaint.
I want you to take me to your leader.
Mr. Brindley?
That'll do nicely.
He's not in.
Well, don't just stand there. Think of an alternative. Where can I find him?
He's out measuring a job.
Not good enough. Where? Is that plumber here yet?
Nobody's been.
Oh. Get him on the phone.
I don't know his number.
Find it! And when he does come, for goodness sake, keep your legs under the desk. I can't stand the sight of plumbers under stress.
I never had much time, but my husband liked doing jobs around the house.
Good sign.
He was a good man.
See all the troublemakers in the world. I bet they all had one thing in common. Never did jobs round the house, eh?
What are you doing here?
Been expelled. And I'm starving. Could murder some cholesterol.
Your mother's going to go mad.
Just have to get used to it.
Well, better get your things away before they get creased.
Are you the boyfriend? My father was tall, slim and good looking. He used to keep his hands cared for. Had long, slender fingers.
Nobody's perfect.
What's this then?
Steely Forest. Forest Collection Agency. It used to be run by my father.
Look,
It's nothing personal.
It is to me.
We've just been made a better offer, that's all there is to it.
That's what you think.
Look, I don't want to get mixed up in any row that you're having with this guy. Like I say, it's not personal.
It may look like a bargain now, Mr. Brindley, but it's going to cost you money in the future.
You're a fighter. I'll give you that.
Plus, it's going to cause you trouble, because the way he collects is not the way a reputable firm collects. It's bad news for any business. He'll leave you with a public relations problem that's a real dilly, and it's not just sour grapes. Ask around. Have you ever had any cause for complaint with my firm?
No, that's not been a problem.
Let me show you how good we are. Give me 3 of your stickiest accounts.
I don't know.
3 real stinkers you're getting nowhere with.
I think she likes it. Should have run her over. Put her out of her misery.
Better lock yourself in, Mrs. Harper. There's some strange folk about.
I knew if I left you 5 minutes, you'd adopt him.
Well, sit down. It's time you had something to eat.
We haven't got time.
It doesn't make sense if you haven't got time to have a meal. Even one of these days the sun is going to go out.
I don't often get a proper meal.
Well, hurry it up. And it's not right, gobbling your food.
What's the matter with you two? Are you practising for a funeral?
Wendy's upstairs. She's been expelled.
I never wanted some damn posh school anyway.
I know. That's why you need it.
I'm old enough to leave school. I'll get a job.
What as?
I'll find something.
Not what you'd call really gifted forward planning.
I'm not going to be a doctor or a barrister, Mother. You might as well face it.
You're going to settle for some dreary nowhere job.
Other girls have to.
Exactly. They have to. You're making a choice.
It's my life.
Yes, it is. But don't be too pleased with it because it's got a 16-year-old idiot in charge of it. On your feet, Carmichael.
Aren't you going to eat?
We've got work to do. I've managed to persuade the double glazing company to give us another chance. Now, what we've got here are 3 of their stickiest accounts. If we can collect on these, we're back in.
What about your mother's door?
We'll get back to the door.
I feel I've had a meal under false pretences.
Molesworth, John Edgar.
Looks empty.
Which is more than we can say for you. And stop filling my mother's head with stuff about the sun going out.
Unlike some people, she seemed interested.
She'll be lying awake all night.
It's empty. Lovely there.
Oh, Mr. John Edgar Molesworth?
Not anymore.
Have you any idea where we can find him?
I can tell you exactly where you can find him.
Going to walk into an old folks' home and hassle some old guy for money?
I'm going to give it a whack.
Why don't we wait a while? Catch him off balance on Christmas Eve.
When you are far away and I am blue, what'll I do?
Have they found it? I told them they wouldn't find it. No one listens to me.
Where do you think you're going, Mr. Ackroyd? You don't need your hat on in here. Who is it you're looking for, love?
Mr. Molesworth.
John Edgar? Upstairs, number 5. Right, must be having you then, Mr. Ackroyd. And you, Nellie Wallace.
Have they found it?
Mr. Molesworth,
I haven't had my breakfast.
You don't know me, Mr. Molesworth. My name is Forrest.
Obersturmbannführer Forrest.
Before we go any further, Mr. Molesworth, can I ask if you're well enough to talk business? Is that your signature, Mr. Molesworth? Do you mind answering a few questions? Or have you some close relatives that you'd rather we dealt with, Mr. Molesworth? If you're happy that we deal with you personally, and you agree that that is your signature, can I ask you to reread the agreement carefully, with particular attention to paragraph 12?
I haven't had me breakfast.
He has had breakfast. It's just that he doesn't remember. You have had your breakfast. You got most of it down your pyjamas. We had to find you some clean pyjamas. I don't know. People take the trouble to come and see you. You don't want to hear you moaning on about your breakfast. You mustn't mind if he doesn't know you. He gets mixed up.
Ackroyd's got my pullover.
He hasn't got your pullover. It's not your pullover.
Don't say a word.
Well, I asked for their stickiest files. They certainly gave me their stickiest files.
Didn't say a word.
How do you know words like Obersturmbannführer?
I was just good at school. Glasses. He used to read me comics. I taught me his first step in elementary girls.
Let's see what they're giving us for number 2.
Maybe this one's easier. Maybe this one's on a life support machine.
That is some life support machine.
This is it. This is the Radcliffe House.
This is it. Business. Mr. Radcliffe will be in touch.
You really poured on the charm, didn't you?
This one's going to get nasty, I can feel it. But this one I'm going to collect.
You see a place like that, how come they get in debt?
You got a lot to learn, Carmichael.
Home should be the place where you find a bit of peace. Mine's become a nightmare. All it takes is bad neighbours. I've got terrible neighbours. The father took off. It's just the woman. She seems to have no control. She doesn't care anyway. You complain, you just get mouthfuls of abuse. You can see why I needed the double glazing. And it's not just the music. There's the bikes. They spend hours revving the motorbikes. When I ordered the double glazing, I could afford it. I had a little job. Not much, but it helped. I were in better health.
Are you alone, Mrs. Harper?
I am now, since Mr. Harper left, with a lady friend, my friend. I miss her really more than him. They say I've had a breakdown. I've been under psychiatric care. But with the music all night long, I don't get any sleep unless I get loaded up with pills. I get loaded up with pills, I don't wake up in the morning. I lost the job. The house is all I've got. Even then, I'd move in a minute if I had an option. Where could I go? I shall never get back on track while I've got these people next door to contend with. They're driving me insane. Oh, you've heard people say that, I'm sure, but I'm terrified it's true.
Have you tried the police, Mrs. Harper?
What can they do? They send a bobby. He comes along, he tells them to be quiet. The police can't stay here. The minute he's turned that corner, oh, go the radios again and I get more abuse. Oh, not much good for anything these days. But I can still make a pot of tea. Would you care for a cup of tea?
I'm afraid we haven't got time, Mrs. Harper.
We'll make time, Mrs. Harper. We'd love a cup of tea.
Is that a facelift? Don't fancy yours much. What I think about this statue. Really? Hey, you want to see me big end?
What you get when you cross liberal theories with naff education. Them. Drinking tea with her's not going to help.
Well, she just wanted 5 minutes practice at life being orderly. You live like you drive. Why don't you try it smoother?
He was supposed to be here at 9 o'clock. Is he on his way? Is he not on his way? Can you tell me? Has he left a number with you this morning? That's my number, dear. That's where he's supposed to be, but that's where he isn't. Well, if I were you, I'd try to find him. Or we're both going to get very teed off with some complaining bitch on the line who is going to be me. The old man in the home.
Molesworth? Ah, forget it. He's in a senile twilight beyond the reach of arithmetic.
We went to his house first.
So?
Was there any double glazing? It's had nothing done to it for years.
The way you dress, you sometimes give the same impression. Well, somebody has to tell you. Since your husband left, you've let yourself go.
When I want your opinion...
Don't get uptight. You're always getting uptight. You should relax more. Do yourself up a bit.
Have you looked at you lately?
I'm big and ugly. It's the best I can do.
The best you can do is to discontinue this conversation right now.
Better keep your voice down. I think we're being watched. I've got a feeling we've just entered the lair of the Dragon Lady.
I don't suppose she misses much. If you had any queries round here, where would you go?
The Dragon Lady?
The Dragon Lady.
His mind's gone, bless him. It's a shame. He were a lovely person. I couldn't have asked for a better neighbour. I didn't think he had any relatives. Never seen any. You're not relatives.
We're from the Wentmore Trust.
Oh, yes.
You must have heard of us. We're a private charity. Mr. Molesworth's name has been submitted to us as a possible recipient of our help.
Really? Who by, I wonder?
That I'm afraid I wouldn't know. That comes entirely into a different department. Our job is merely to make the preliminary inquiries. Do you know who submitted Mr. Molesworth's name, Mr. Carmichael?
Me? No.
There, you see? Even our Mr. Carmichael doesn't know either. For a change. I think it almost certainly came from the home, don't you, Mr. Carmichael?
Yes. Almost certainly submitted by the home.
Did you know Mr. Molesworth well?
Well, you're bound to, aren't you, if you live next door?
And there were no relatives, you say?
Not in this country, anyway. I think there's a brother in Australia.
Wentmore Trust. Do you think you can give me 30 seconds notice before you spring something like that on me again?
I don't like her.
I'm not lying, Mr. Radcliffe. Miss Forrest isn't in. She spends most of her time outside the office. She probably did visit your wife. I wouldn't know about that. It's no good shouting at me, Mr. Radcliffe. I can't put her on if she's not here. Dickhead.
That plumber come yet?
No. What the heck have you been doing to her, Mr. Radcliffe?
Ratcliffe? Ratcliffe?
Radcliffe. Big house. Women threw you out. I can see why.
But aren't you the tiniest bit concerned? Well, one of your plumbers is missing and nobody cares. How long does he have to be gone before somebody starts worrying at your end? I'll tell you what I think. I think he's busy finishing some damn job he should have finished a week ago, and sooner than admit it, you're just wasting people's time. Well, you can keep your plumber.
I knew you were in. Knew the girl was lying.
Oh, what line? She's just come in.
Can we help you?
Yes, you visited my wife. Her name is Radcliffe.
Oh, Mr. Radcliffe, I'm glad you came in.
It won't be in a minute. I don't appreciate people from a rat hole like this bothering my wife. Now, what the hell business is it of yours whether or not I'm in conflict with this double glazing firm?
That's very simple, Mr. Radcliffe. We in this rat hole have been retained by that client to recover his debt.
What debt? Are you aware that I'm in dispute with your so-called client? That in my opinion he's guilty of shoddy work?
I have been informed of that, Mr. Radcliffe, but so far you've taken no steps other than to withhold payment. Is that the only measure you intend to apply?
That is none of your damn business.
Oh, I'm afraid it is now.
You're threatening me.
I'm simply pointing out a fact. Now, what we ought to do is stop blustering about and see if we can't find some sensible solution.
You move at me again, I'm going to slap my solicitor on you.
That doesn't make sense. It'd be cheaper to settle my client's account.
I'll settle with you if you cross my path again.
Dickhead.
Language. Radcliffe,
I thought you'd enjoy Radcliffe.
did you do shoddy work?
That's rhubarb. It's full of crap.
Are you sure about that?
There was nothing wrong with that job. Manufacture or installation. He's just trying it on.
As long as you're sure about that. If I push him, I don't want you weaseling out as soon as he makes a fuss.
Go for him.
Right. Molesworth is in a home, an old people's home. He's senile.
Know the feeling.
Yes, but the interesting thing is he must have been senile when you sold him the double glazing.
What do you mean?
You tell me. And here's something even funnier. Mr. Molesworth doesn't even have double glazing.
What are you trying to tell me?
I don't know yet. Can you find out who among your people installed that job?
Well, yes. I can try. But there's no guarantee that they're still with me. They come and go.
You need to speak to them, whether they're with you now or not. You need to find out what happened to Mr. Molesworth's double glazing. Turn that down! Just a bundle of nerves, isn't she? You get later. I'll get you meal. Do I look a mess? Do I look as if I need doing up a bit? You look tired. I suppose that amounts to the same thing, doesn't it? Trouble at work? No more than usual. Andy Barris? No more than usual. I'll have a word with his father. Don't get involved. If you're involved, I am involved. I've got enough to worry about. It'll do no harm to have a word with Frank Barris. I've never found him anything but kindly. No! I sometimes wonder if he knows a half of what his son gets up to. What difference would it make? It's nothing to do with Andy's business. He wouldn't touch it with a long spoon. How do you know? Well, it's his mother Andy takes after, not his father. She was no good. Too noisy in company. She must have smoked 60 a day. Has he got any family?
Not here. I think there's somebody in Australia.
What about visitors? Does he get visitors?
Not what you'd call regular. Mind you, when they do come, they're very good with him. They take him out for rides. They spoil him, don't they, Mr. Molesworth?
Have I had my breakfast?
You've had your breakfast.
They don't do fried bread.
How dare you visit me at my place of work? This is harassment.
I'd be in trouble if it was, Mr. Radcliffe. The courts forbid anyone in my profession to harass people in the collection of debt.
Will you keep your voice down?
I can be tactful. Try me.
Leave me alone.
Anywhere?
No. And if they do, how am I supposed to keep pace with a car?
You pedal like hell.
Come on, love. It's only music. What's you got against music then, Elof?
It's Carmichael, he wants a Fiora.
Fiora speaking. Will you stop panting and say that again? You followed them to where? The old people's home. Surprise, surprise. Well, stay with them when they leave. I want to know where they go. I realise you're on a bicycle. You've made it so far.
Molesworth. 154 Wilton Street.
I can't remember.
I didn't think he'd remember, they do so many.
Well, he'd remember this one, because when he'd been and gone, there wasn't a trace of double glazing.
What'd she say?
You tell me.
Are you sure I did this job?
154 Wilton Street, that's your signature.
Where did it go?
Where did what go?
The double glazing.
Well, there's the worksheet, 154 Wilton Street.
Or maybe next door.
Did it go next door?
Oh, it was that one, was it? I remember that one.
You double glazed next door. Yes.
They said there'd been a mistake in the paperwork. We got the wrong number.
It's for you.
Forrest.
It's Crystal. When you come in the office? I've got Mr. Radcliffe here with steam coming out of his ears.
Well, you've gone too far this time. Harassing me is one thing, but when you start harassing my wife...
Would you care to step into my private office, Mr. Radcliffe?
I don't give a damn for your private office. What I've got to say to you, I can say here.
I keep a private office, Mr. Radcliffe, so that no one need suffer any unnecessary embarrassment.
You're the one who's going to be embarrassed. I warned you before, woman. I mean, I thought if you were a sensible creature, it just might have got through, but obviously not. I mean, you've the gall to follow my wife. Well, that's it. End of the line. I'm taking you, madam, for everything you've got. I'm going straight to my solicitor.
Mr. Radcliffe, you can't afford a solicitor.
I can buy and sell you.
Are you sure you wouldn't like to step into the private office, Mr. Radcliffe?
I've got nothing to hide. Say what you've got to say.
Will you make us all a coffee, please, Crystal?
I don't want any of your damn coffee.
3 coffees, please, Crystal.
I'll show you whether I can afford a solicitor or not. I'm going to hit you with the best that money can buy.
Mr. Radcliffe, I watched your wife fumbling to scrape together enough to buy a gallon of petrol.
Well, she must have forgotten her purse.
You owe money all over town.
You've been prying into my financial affairs. Damn you!
That's what happens when you get into debt. It's not just your money that goes, Mr. Radcliffe, it's your privacy too. Now, shall we go into the office?
Now, don't you imagine that I am bluffing. I intend to put a stop to your activities.
With what? You're living like an idiot.
How dare you!
There's nobody listening, Mr. Radcliffe. Just me and you. And I know you're living like an idiot. It's out of control, isn't it? Sit down, man. Stop performing and let's look where we are. Sit down. You must be tired and sick of running around and juggling things.
She was right. She's often right. It's another one of her irritating qualities. Where is the Führer?
Radcliffe.
I can't hear anything in there.
I've been quiet for a while.
He's probably strangling her. Something I could understand.
Thank you, Miss Forrest.
You're very welcome, Mr. Radcliffe. I'll see what I can do. I'll be in touch.
Are you the shower at Forest Collection Agency?
Ah, the late plumber. Numerous persons would agree that we are the shower at the Forest Collection Agency.
You what?
I sent instructions cancelling you.
Cancelling me?
I thought the message was simple enough, but obviously it's beyond the capacity of that Tinkerbell in your office.
Well, since we seem to have overloaded our circuits, I suppose the best thing you can do is stop standing there not plumbing and begin.
Begin? I wouldn't work for you, missus. You've got too much gob. And another thing, that Tinkerbell in our office happens to be my wife.
So they went shopping and you followed?
Wheeling a bicycle. I couldn't leave it in the car park because I didn't have a lock, did I? So here's this muffin trying to wheel a bicycle around a shopping centre. I've got security men tagging me.
Which shop did the dragon lady go in?
Well, I don't know the name.
You didn't get the name?
I can't read, remember?
What kind of a store was it?
Furniture.
Right, and you saw them buying something, but then how do you know they're going to deliver today?
I went into the store and asked.
Wheeling a bicycle?
No. Left it outside with a kid. Gave him 50p. You owe me 50p.
For minding a bike?
He wanted a quid.
So you went into the store?
Yeah, and I pretended I was with the dragon lady that had just left, and she'd sent me back to double-check what time it was going to be delivered.
Carmichael, you used your head.
And 50p. Don't forget the 50p.
I don't like that woman. Terrible taste in furniture.
Can I help you again, dear?
Not really. We've just come to keep an eye on Mr. Molesworth's new furniture.
What are you talking about? It's my furniture.
Wouldn't you rather we didn't talk about this in the street?
No, I haven't forgotten our conversation. Like I told you when we first met, I have this directorship in a building firm and we need a few windows in the course of a year. I can steer that business your way. You've done the right thing, Mr. Brindley. For both of us.
Radcliffe, begin repayments next month. Now, it's not a large amount, but it's all you can afford. It's the best you're going to get.
You collected on Radcliffe.
Molesworth.
The old guy in the home.
Right. Now, Molesworth can do practically nothing but sign his name. His former neighbour has been utilising that skill. She got the double glazing. She's got stuff from all over the place against Molesworth's signature. Now, I've had a word with her, and she's agreed to make substantial repayments on a weekly basis.
You did good.
Mrs. Harper, I can do nothing with. She's near a nervous breakdown. I don't want to pressure her. I'm afraid that's one you're going to have to write off.
Well, that's disappointing. You were doing so well.
There is no way, under her present circumstances, you're going to get anything out of Mrs. Harper. She simply can't do it.
So you've blown it, and you came so close.
2 out of those 3's not bad, and you know it.
Our deal was 3. All 3.
Oh, come on, Brindley. You didn't think I'd get even 1.
3. The deal was 3.
How's your wife these days?
She's fine.
I'm surprised.
It's you.
What are you doing?
I'm installing a shower.
We've lost the double glazing account.
Watch your buns off on that one.
Yeah, it's been got at. Little toad never had any intention of giving me another go. Can you come with me for an hour?
Where to?
Mrs. Harper's, the one with the terrible neighbours.
Well, if you've lost the account, she's not your problem anymore.
I want to see how things are. Warn her about who's going to come knocking on her door.
It's like this every night, Mrs. Harper.
Every night.
The music, could you turn it down, please?
Piss off.
What did they say?
They said, piss off.
That's just how they talk to me.
Listen, Mrs. Harper, there'll be some new people coming. Now, whatever you do, don't take out any loans with them. I want you to remember that. Tell them that when things get a bit quiet around here, you'll get your little job back and you'll be able to meet your repayments. They're in the garden now. They're playing the radio in the garden.
Yeah, Mrs. Harper. Have a drink on us.
You'll excuse me a minute.
Mrs. Harper, now when these new people call, make sure they understand that your ability to pay depends on you getting some help to keep things a bit quieter next door.
When will things ever get quieter next door?
Beginning any minute now, love. He's in a terrible mood. He's had to install his own shower.